To get a one bedroom here for less than 1 million shillings, why would I buy another one bedroom next door at 3-4 million shillings?
You guys are telling people to go 15-30 meters from the river. But mi naonanga nyumba bwana iko katikati ya, you know. So what's, from a professional's point, help me and the people who are watching this show understand. Why can't it happen here?
People are worried that Kilimani will be just like a pipeline. Itakuwa kama pipeline, everybody can access, everybody can live there as much as ilikuwa an elite zone.
I think we have set ourselves for some nice problem in the next 5-10 years in Kilimani.
Hello everyone and welcome to Mjengo podcast, where we hold discussions to help us make informed decisions for greater living. My name is Brenda Nyawara, I'm an architect, and today I have two hosts with me who shall introduce themselves.
Okay, I'm pretty excited to be back. So my name is Brenda Ngoye, I'm an urban designer. I'm excited for the topics that we have in line, looking forward to them.
Okay, hello everybody, my name is Nderito Steven. I'm usually behind the cameras doing the production work, but I'm glad to step in for David Nahinga, and we are glad to have you and watching this show.
Yeah, I'm also very excited about today's topics, and the one that has been on the news lately and is always in the newspapers every single day is affordable housing program.
Yes.
So as you all know, the government has promised us 5,000 units by April this 2025 year, and has also said that there are over 100,000 units being constructed all over the country. So Brenda, what do you think about the program so far?
So far, my thinking is, how affordable is it? Is it affordable to everyone or just a certain class of people? And another thing is the quality of the finishes. Is it sustainable in maybe in the next 2 years or even 1 year, we can start fixing things and seeing painting peeling off, even the quality of the finishes being questionable. So
yeah, that bit about finishes is something very important, because if a building has just been commissioned, then you're expecting it to last 50 years. Surely, is your investment safe?
yeah.
I think one of the issues, kind of a double-edged sword scenario that we have here, we could be impressed by the speed at which this is being done, you know, like looks pretty impressive. In another life, people usually say cute from far, far from cute. One of the issues raised is the how standardized is it, the price at which some of those units are being sold for. In far-flung areas, is that the market rate? Is that the best location? Is it going to give value for the price at which it is being offered? I think that has come out very strongly. And definitely the quality of finishes. As a country, we are not known to be very keen on quality things and things like that. So I think we're not surprised. I think especially you guys as professionals, you can tell us. It's not. It does not come as a surprise that some of the units don't have very good quality 1 to 3 years afterwards.
And that's actually very disheartening to the public, because the public sees a building from the outside. So if you walk past Ngara and you can see on the building facade that the cladding is coming off.
Paint is spilling.
Yes, that actually raises concerns.
Yeah, another concern is how it connects to other utilities. The sewer system, that's so concerning, because Nairobi is known to have maybe a bad drainage system plus also sewer system. There's a tweet I saw on Twitter, somebody saying that the plan for Nairobi sewer system was the person who knows the actual plan died, and so I'm just wondering if the affordable housing could at least plug in, start with other utilities, then come back to the units, so that it can flow very well.
Actually, when it comes to the utilities, because as you develop housing, we'd also ask, where's the school, the new school coming up, the new market, the fire station, the playgrounds, the new parks, because all those should go alongside
even the
housing.
transport
The transport system as well. Yeah.
and we haven't seen. So we are hoping that the private sector will awaken to the need for those and come and save the day.
Yes.
Yes.
Opportunity for investment.
Yes, like
Or-
mko ambitious.
But
How is that going to happen?
public-private partnership maybe can be considered. I don't know.
But has it even been factored in anywhere in any of these developments? Has it come out strongly and clearly that maybe even downstream that the government intends to bring in the PPPs to help with the parks and all those other amenities?
Ideally, it should have been running concurrently.
Yes.
I would hate to think that they only thought about housing but not the other amenities. And if they didn't, by now, there are enough professionals who have been speaking up about affordable housing
Yeah.
that they should have already picked it up and tried to make plans towards it, right? Yeah.
But it hasn't happened.
Yeah.
Hasn't happened yet.
No, I must be very clear as a non-Mjengo professional sitting in this podcast, and I will ask. I've had you mention green spaces. We have what other amenities? Schools,
Roads.
playgrounds,
Yeah.
Market, fire stations.
fire stations,
Exactly.
and all those. Because there is one that I pass here in Makuyu, and it's, by the way, ni kama imejengwa kwa plot. On my way home to Mount Kenya, there is a very big project there, one of those affordable housings, and I mean, I just naona tu ploti alafu imepanda juu, and I think that would be a good thought for investors and other professionals to think how they can join and add value
Yeah.
to the concrete jungles that are coming up.
But also, I'm curious how they're choosing the location of the affordable housing. What procedures are they using? Is it close to certain things, or maybe availability of land also? Yeah. Are they buying land from somebody, or I don't know. So that's a curious point to maybe research and think about.
Actually, yes, because if you're bringing housing units together and it's 5,000, 10,000 housing units, then you're planning a small town, a small center.
Exactly.
Ideally, they should think about what's around it as well.
Yeah, that means you have enough number of people to justify all those kind of facilities or to meet their need. Because I think that's what these private sector developers do. Wanajenga estate, and the estate has provisions
potential.
for some of those facilities. Then people know that they don't have to go outside.
Exactly.
And some of those places are far, especially na huku north, Eldoret, nini na huko. Some of the affordable housing projects are in funny locations.
Funny locations.
Yeah.
Yes.
But here, I'm thinking about the property value of the neighborhood that the affordable housing will be situated. I'm assuming it will skyrocket. People now pandisha rent, saying like actually affordable housing iko hapa, so you guys are closer to a government.
Historically, I've seen where there's affordable housing, the rent, the property value goes down. That's why in some areas they refuse to have such high-rise, multi-units, high-density development, because it reduces the property value. I don't know how that will work in
when
Kenya.
you bring now this, there is a oversupply.
Oversupply of housing.
So unakoroga hiyo market rate
Sambaratika.
nini, so too much.
Yes.
Then the other property owners are going to complain because now you are going to shukisha the price.
Yes.
Oh,
Because
yes.
if you get a one-bedroom here for less than 1 million shillings, why would I buy another one-bedroom next door at
For
3-4 million
exactly.
shillings?
Yeah, makes sense. Makes sense.
I'm curious if they can bring affordable housing to areas like Lavington. I don't know if it will it will try to reduce the prices of the houses. I don't know. Yeah.
Interesting. But I know the cost for affordable housing also is dependent on, number one, the cost of the land they're putting it in, and the value they're getting back from it. So if they were putting it in Lavington, I don't think the government would afford to build it there, or the cost of the unit now will go higher.
Yeah. Okay.
Maybe also the local area development, the residents might also object on the basis that they want a given caliber of properties there as well.
Okay.
I must remind you that affordable housing project was a employment project. As you try to find out as to whether affordable houses are affordable, one of the biggest motivating factors was we want to create jobs for
the youth.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it I mean, that also confused many of us, because like, okay, can we look for other ways of creating jobs, or do you have to build these houses that we contribute to, which you still have to buy later on? And that was quite a wild factor in the whole mathematics of the affordable housing. Affordable housing, jobs.
Where will they go? Where will they go once the units are done? Where will the youth go?
As they will tell you, we'll cross the bridge
when we get there.
When we get there. But as for now, we have thousands of youth who go there for Mjengo jobs. So, but it didn't make perfect sense, you know, in terms of what price do you pay on this side to get the jobs. Then when the way you're saying, so when it's done, okay, can we afford the houses?
Good question.
Are they available?
Exactly.
Is there corruption?
Can we all get one at least?
Are we paying with our payslip?
With our payslip as well.
Well,
so long as the taxpayer money has gone into it, then I think we should reap the benefits of where our money is going.
Exactly.
Speaking of which, some areas are planned for housing, some are planned for different uses. Perhaps you can tell us about any other new planning areas coming up.
Actually, affordable housing is now being connected to Nairobi River being declared as a special planning zone. This is where under PLUPA, that is physical land use planning book, that urban planners use, say that the government has a mandate to declare an area, a problematic area, special planning zone, for them to be able to intervene and do other plans. So Nairobi River has been an issue, has been in the magazines everywhere, even we've talked about it for long, and at some point I'm glad that it has been declared SPA, but I'm just curious of the procedures, because I think there is already plans for it, there is already designs without public participations.
So like they are operating to Juakali in terms of how they want to approach it. Is it that the professionals are not there, or old ideas have been discarded? Because I remember the first time I heard about these grandiose plans for Nairobi River, it's been a very long time. They start, a new team comes in, then government changes, a new team comes in, new ideas, they start doing feasibility studies and awards, you know, just too many years and nothing happening
yet.
So there's been a lot of programs under Nairobi River trying to rejuvenate it, doing a lot of things, even UN were part of it. But some organizations, so I think a leeway to Nairobi River being at least given an attention or being done something about it. One, our president is a wetland, somebody has a degree in wetland management or something.
PhD,
So if you go to talk to him about Nairobi River being regenerated, at least it's not from ground level. It's somebody who has a background about it. Then I think you have to, for not just government, for anyone to invest in something, money, you have to try and bring value out of it. Like, so with Nairobi River, if you go with the angle of we are just doing this for the people, I don't think the project is will be easily taken up. So by creating value, people tried to tie it to affordable housing, selling the affordable housing issue into it. Like, what if we reclaim the riparian, but also as much as we are developing other things, we can have the social affordable housing.
What else is being developed there besides housing?
I think the plan is to have several parks, maybe drainage system, sewer system. But what I'm curious about is the riparian, as I've said, is 30 meters.
Yes.
Then there's an extra 30 meters developed. But my curiosity comes when a lot of informal settlement are situated in Nairobi, along this river.
What will happen to them then?
Exactly. What does it mean for them? Will they be relocated? Is there any plan for it? Are they following the proper procedure? That's why the proper procedure, why maybe involving them in a public participation, trying to say, oh, this is what we are doing. And maybe to let a vichwa pamoja, you see how best we can reclaim Nairobi River without doing more damage to everyone involved.
I think one of the things that I have interacted with when I was a little bit more active in my career in photography and video is the factor that poverty plays
It
in
does.
this whole thing.
Yeah.
Because even as I think 3 or 4 days ago, I was watching upstream somewhere, either Kawangware, that side, and these guys were being interviewed, and they were very strongly rejecting the whole issue and saying, tunaenda wapi?
Exactly.
And it's a mzai who looks like 70, 80, and saying, we've been here all our life. You're telling us that now is when you want us to leave. I think it also came up during the floods.
Yes.
Maybe last year or last year, but one when the floods were wreaking havoc, and those people were like, yeah, watu wamebebwa na maji nini, but we have no place to go.
That's their
If
home.
we talk about the pollution, the plastic menace, all that, of course, there are the rich people in India,
Yeah.
wale wana,
Yes.
the waste.
Even in
But-
Kileleshwa uphill
Kilimani.
neighborhoods, they
yes,
actually
yes,
just
yes, the
drain
ones
the
that you
effluent.
expect that they shouldn't do that, and they are doing it.
Yes.
So, but there is a very strong aspect of poverty from the point that how do you even start educating a poor person about the river, yet they are losing sleep about their next meal? How do you start telling me about moving from here unless I go back to the village, which means I won't even have an income?
Yeah.
And I think should be, I'm sure from your professional point of view, it's a complex web of issues
Yeah.
that cannot be, you can't solve it with one stroke of just those UNEP plans,
Yes.
those
Yeah.
grand
That's
Yeah.
things that have been put on paper and drawn and perhaps gathering dust in a place.
Yeah.
Yeah, apart from evicting people, also to the rest of Nairobians, they'll ask themselves, what do I benefit from that corridor being developed and also using public funds?
Yeah.
Because if you ask me, the image I have of Nairobi River, I would not even want to go close to it
Exactly.
now. And I'm told that in the past, people even used to fish,
Drink
they saw
water
fish or
from it,
drink water
yeah.
from it.
Yes.
Do you think it can go back to that? Can it really be restored?
Yeah, I think so. I think so vaguely, because I was fortunate enough to be part of a session where they were able to share some of the designs of this Nairobi River, and one of the idea they had was to, according to the analysis, the major issue of Nairobi River is the sewerage system entering directly, but I think they missed a point of the industries they didn't mention, but I think the focus point was the informal settlement lacking sewer system, so they discharge their sewers on the river. So one of the designed out showed that there will be a proper drainage system developed by Chinese people, running from I think is it Kikuyu to
Naivasha Road.
Naivasha Road?
Ondiri, that side, yeah.
From Naivasha Road, I think, to Dandora. But my question is, as much as obviously the Chinese will be funding, doing the everything, doing the engineering, the designs, but I'm wondering the value, for expressway, how they did it. They built it, but they are also collecting money from toll. So how will they be collecting their money from this drainage system? This is a drainage system that will be serving maybe other people, and how will other people be able to plug in to be able to
pay their
exactly
fees.
to pay for it? That's one. The second one is the public spaces. I think they wanted to develop several public spaces so that it can connect. One,
So you're talking like more of the Michuki Park
yeah,
kind of
yeah,
spaces.
even the museum connecting. I think there's a connection between museum and Michuki Park, and they want to
Yes, the
build.
botanical garden at the museum
Yes.
touches the river. Yeah.
Yes, I'm thinking about maintenance. You know how our public spaces.
Yes.
Will people pay for maintenance? And according to urban design, it's not as
You
in
should
it's
not be charged for
usually,
it.
yeah. So there's a lot of questions, and the thing I'm concerned is we are not able to interact with the designs, but also I feel like we should be given a chance to at least question a public participation forum, at least to comment and see and make sure this thing actually works. I don't think I think everybody in Nairobi wants at some point Nairobi River to return to the way it was. Yeah, we don't like the view of it because Nairobi was chosen because of those rivers, and they have at least to look nice. You see those pictures of how Netherlands
rivers.
they integrate their development with the rivers. Yeah.
You know, I live down on Mbagathi Way, and we have this side, you know, the Nairobi Kirichwa that goes down, Grogon down like that.
Yeah.
But there is another one, Mbagathi, which also goes and connects, I think, down towards Machakos County. It's a nuisance.
Yeah.
I think if you have any of you know people who live around high rise,
Yeah.
that whole Strathmore, that river stinks when it rains.
Yeah.
I don't know the connection with the sailing club. You know the little dam that used to be sailing
Nairobi.
club. I mean, it's called sailing club because
There were boats there.
yes, it was. There's a club, like a members club, that used to do sailing. Now it's a swamp,
Yeah.
and of course, on one side it's bordered by Kibera slums, so it's got its fair share of
Affluent.
poverty. Let me just leave it at that, you know. But every time hata kambua tu kidogo hivi, I think inakoroganga maji, and it really has a very bad and of course if you look at it, you'll even see foam,
Yeah.
you know, and all that. And on Mbagathi Way, haijaenda inda.
Bad.
By the time it goes like that and goes all the way to Machakos County, if you have flown, you can see it, because especially I think when you're coming from a bit like Rift Valley, you can see the river because you come from that side. It's black.
Black in color.
It's black.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can see the way it's making its way through Nahuko and Embakasi side. It's actually black. So it's the whole of these water systems, like you're saying, they were so nice. People used to fish. They could drink the water from the river directly. Today, like some guys who did that documentary, Toxic something. I remember one of the media houses doing that documentary. It was called Toxic something. Like it's really, really toxic. Just before I finish, in fact, from where the river starts up, Naukongong and wherever Ondiri, the people who are farming, they spray things. So it's poisoned
to the river.
It's the poison starts at the start.
Yeah, an interesting point you've raised. If you look at the water system of Kenya generally, Nairobi is up there. It's up there as the river flows from Nairobi, goes to Thika, then transverse to other counties. Athi goes to the coastal Indian Ocean. So we are polluting the water system from up here.
We really are, from the uplands. Yes.
Yes. So I think at some point, with something should be done about it. For me, I think I've talked about Nairobi River for the longest time. I'm just tired, at least, as in something should be done. Because when we were I remember in campus, one of the projects we did in third year, Nairobi River, fourth year, Nairobi River. Even one of my graduate project I did Nairobi River. So we've studied it. I think people have opinions, have great design. We just have to find a way how it works. Yes, for it being declared a special planning area, it's a good thing, but we have to know how to make it work. Let it not be one of these programs that has been trying to develop Nairobi River, then pesa inakulwa, inapotelea tu
citizens as well.
Exactly.
If it's made a public space, then go and utilize it. Go and do the commercial activity there. Maintain it as your own space that is for you to also enjoy in the city, because it's ideally for all of us. Yeah.
Let me ask again, as an outsider in this Mjengo space. I look at pictures. Sijafika huko, though I'd want to. Those nice, small, tiny cities in Europe.
Yeah.
So you guys are telling people to go 15-30 meters from the river. But mi naonanga nyumba bwana iko katikati ya,
exactly.
You know. So what's, from a professional's point, help me and the people who are watching this show understand. Why can't it happen here? I see those guys with nice boats, tourists, sijui Venice, wherever. Kwani sisi?
I think we sometimes are very stuck in the past, because the 30-meter riparian land was from laws made decades ago, and we just stuck to it. We don't really get creative. Remember, in the past, during colonial times, we turned our backs to the lakes, we turned our backs to the rivers, and we've stuck with it in our minds. But we need to get back to knowing that this is an asset. Actually, the riverfront property is actually the most valuable one.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
It overlooks nice, it has nice views.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But an idea has just come up right now. What if
Mm-hmm.
we want to have a series of affordable housing around the river, right?
Yes.
What if they make the affordable housing face the river so that
Yes.
a lot of public can view what actually
Yes.
the river looks like, so
Mhm.
that we can we can actually in unison try to take care of it as people, or maybe try to get the government to do something, or maybe the policymakers, people involved, to do something about it.
Yeah.
Those are the things I wonder, because growing up in Geshagi kulikuanga na ile wall hanging.
Wall hanging.
Unajua wall hanging, ile picture.
Mm.
Those days were very hard to get. You know, they were precious, eh?
Mhm.
Yeah.
A nice house, and there was a river flowing underneath the house.
Mhm.
And I'm sure I mentioned to you guys that ningepata hii ningefanya architecture. So siko mbali sana, msiniangalie hivyo. But my question is, so these laws are being made, they are stuck in the past. They don't know that today, 2025, you can use creativity, innovation, technology
Yes.
to build very close to that river
Yeah.
without jeopardizing everything, but even creating a very good environment. You know,
Yeah.
najua maji vile inasaidianga, of course
Yeah.
not in the current state, which is quite an eyesore. But and are there people who have developed like master plans, or mnazitanga aje, you know, like concepts for that waterfront urban development
Actually,
in Nairobi?
that's a good point. That's a good place to think about it, because we've not thought like that. The argument is always like Nairobi, keep off, but the idea is Nairobi is a swampy area generally.
Yeah.
So maybe the expense that will take to have engineering solution to make us be on top of the rivers might cost a lot. That's my perspective. Might cost more than us stepping away there and then just maybe doing nature-based solution, planting trees, letting nature take its path. So
I actually I get the part about maybe the engineering solutions as well. I would maybe, being a devil's advocate, the 30 meters might be just to maintain it as a public land that anyone can access.
yeah.
Perhaps.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
actually.
Because if we allow developers to now go to the river, they might actually hive it off where now I may
Definitely.
not be able to walk around. And I think I've seen some of the images from some designers who have attempted to propose things for the river, and it's a trail along the water where you can walk actually from downstream all the way up and not have to use public transport.
That is ambitious.
It's
Okay,
ambitious,
even
but if
cycling.
it can be possible,
Because if you go to that place, you know who you will meet.
right now you know who you'll meet.
Yeah.
But
Tena
suppose
tuna
it looked
machukura huko,
nicer.
utaibiwa.
Security.
Yeah. I mean, you know, here at the museum,
Yes. Yes.
between the museum, KBC, I don't know if you guys know that space. If your side mirrors or your phone gets snatched in the traffic, they run down to the bridge, the Museum Hill Bridge, and run through museum, and they wanatorokea huko. For the longest time, until I think cops. So there is an entirely very long shift that is needed if, let's say, like what you've suggested, you know, there are all those beautiful
The
green
trails.
spaces,
What
nature
if-
trails.
What if there are shops now facing that green space? Would the guy now steal and run down there? Because now he's in the public light.
Do you know there's something now we are bringing, the economy affects everything. If the economy is tough, people will try to find other ways of making a living. So they'll be forced maybe to steal, and they have no access to jobs. So at some point, if our economy becomes so bad, even if we do even small interventions, it might not help, because people mtu mwenye ako na njaa atafind a way ya kukula,
Yeah.
ever. So that's another perspective. Yeah. Not being hopeless.
Not being hopeless
It cannot be solved from one angle only. It has to be
from different angles.
Yes, yes.
Well, I guess that's a lot about the planning of it, and we're hoping when they open it up to public participation that we can give these views, and there are more other views that others can also bring from their perspective.
Yeah.
Speaking of planning areas, Kilimani, Parkland, Kileleshwa, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Okay. I have a controversial view. At some point, people are worried that Kilimani will be just like a pipeline. Itakuwa kama pipeline, everybody can access, everybody can live there as much as ilikuwa an elite zone. At some point, that's a bit colonialism. Unakumbuka during that times, there are areas certain people can live, certain people. So at some point, exclusion. So na feel it might be affordable for people. Isi try kuleta the elite zone.
I actually don't think it might be. It is
already
very
is.
fast becoming very affordable.
Exactly.
So is it a matter of a certain level of society refusing to bring in the density housing because they don't want people to move in?
At some point, I think like that, but okay. But I'm just worried for the green space. I'm a green space advocate, so yeah, I'm more worried of it being less. You know? I pass through Kilimani daily going to work, and I'm so like naangalia barabara, like, is this really Kilimani? Barabara, it's very poor. I don't know, pia so development ikikuja wanaamua other infrastructure hawaiki. Then also insisting on other infrastructure kama sewer system, drainage system. Kilimani siku hizi hu flood.
Oh yes, yeah.
Yeah, hu flood. Alafu pia this development ziko bado kwa river.
Yep.
There's ukipita along, is it Kingara Road? I'm not sure. There's a hilly road.
There's a river at the bottom of the valley.
Utaona there's a development up the river. Like mtu amejenga foundation, ameacha space tu kwa river hivi, alafu amejenga juu.
Yeah.
So
I mean, when I started interacting with Kilimani when I came to Nairobi, I think after campus, early on my first job, 2006, 2007, hii place ilikuanga posh sana.
Walai.
Like, of course, when to flats started coming up, maybe 2, 3, 4, 5 levels. Sai. The other day I went through Ngong Road, nikaangalia hivi, I'm like, oh boy, Kilimani is just gonna become pipeline.
Yeah.
And already one leg is there. I can tell you for a fact. I have not even started thinking about your facilities, drainage. You saw one of the professionals saying maji ya Nairobi itakauka ya boreholes and all that kind of stuff. We're in Kilimani, I mean we're in Hurlingham. You guys know how the traffic is already. Because now people are moving in droves to the houses, and from what I may just call a simple pedestrian perspective, I think we have set ourselves for some nice problem in the next 5-10 years in Kilimani.
I think we have, and because a lot of the housing has already been built, and there's more that's coming up, you really can't stop a developer from, getting value from his development.
Yes.
And because the city allows him to go up that many number of floors, he's likely to still continue building.
Now they are going 15?
There are some that have gone 18, 19 floors.
I have counted 15 floors.
15 floors. But I know even Kileleshwa, some are going up 19 floors. And the new development policy is suggesting more floors. It hasn't yet been ratified, but it's suggesting more floors. Also based on market rate of land. But I feel perhaps if we are now to look at a solution, because let's say the blocks already exist, one after the other, maybe we could ask, do we have to use cars to go to work? Do we have to
Unaniambia ninunue gari yangu alafu nikoje City Hopper?
Because the roads will not expand.
Yeah, definitely.
But maybe, I mean, where will people go to school? What solution can we give them now that their buildings already exist?
There's another perspective I'm looking at it. All this development, ukipita ni for sale. Kuna watu wananunua. That's one. Are they just building alafu ni empty houses? That's one. Two, I was having a conversation with a friend and saying, oh, okay, you can buy the house, but pia there was issue of quality. People using cheap matte finishes. Then ukishanunua inakuwa shida yako kumaintain. So kuna hiyo, there's a discussion a while ago, earlier this year on Twitter, people asking, kulikuwa na picture ya a very tall building. It has an offer. It's on sale and it has an offer. Imagine sasa wameanza kusell buildings on offer. Ina sound absurd, but okay. Yeah. So is it wanaunda alafu watu afford ama I don't know.
Yeah. I think also maybe there's oversupply
In in that area, Kilimani,
in that area,
yeah.
and maybe the majority of Wakenya, our target is not the house that costs 12 million, 15 million. Maybe the market needs what we're calling affordable housing, but those apartment buildings, like the one that had that offer, you can tell that the units they are going for, the cheapest one is 8 million for a studio apartment. Sure.
8 million for a studio.
For a studio apartment.
That's still way above.
It's still
what-
way above. So even them, maybe as they are going up, wafikirie Wakenya wanataka nini.
Yeah.
Let me ask again, while at it, because as early as 2006, 2007, 2006, 2007, 2008, when all these flats started, then people thought there are many. Ati all these flats coming up in Kilimani, Kileleshwa, there are too many, Riverside, what, and they said there'd be a bubble. When you see those prices, I mean, a studio still going at bubble imekata kubust, you know. But either way, I believe that if the bubble of market price may not burst, but in terms of quality of life, traffic jams, sewerage systems, I don't know if it will overload electricity. I don't understand. I mean, just stretching everything. You know. And remember, peer crime.
Yeah.
Population density kipanda,
Crime inapanda pia.
na crime hivi, you know, all those things. I mean, my pedestrian view again, I usually tell guys, yani unatembea Kilimani, mahindi inachomwa kila kona, mayai inagongwa kila kona. Some people may say ni juu watu, but either way, you couldn't see that kitambo. But what happens is that high regard for Kilimani, I think its days are numbered, if not gone. And I have witnessed those, like unajua sasa wanaweka hizo fittings new ma Airbnb.
Oh, no wonder.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's not for them.
Hizo zinakaa nice at first, but after 2 years,
zimeanza kudeteriorate.
yeah, because I think that's how the market is responding now. You don't get tenants, but most people are now experimenting with a lot of Airbnbs. There's even an argument that the prices for Airbnbs in Kilimani and environs are dropping.
They're starting to give the offers.
Unataka kuingia hiyo topic? Ya Kilimani na BNB. Tutatoka hapa.
Which one?
Because you know there's also another side of the story because of reputation of Kilimani and a lot of BNBs and what happens.
Okay.
As a hub of enjoyment,
that.
yeah,
Yes, I hadn't thought about that. And
But then it's also a response in the market. So they are not getting tenants, they are not getting sales, but they are getting the short stay tenants in the name of a lot of BNB.
So if it was homeowners, they would actually put more effort in the spaces they live in.
Yeah.
But short stays don't care about infrastructure or facilities around it.
I don't think even the concept of BNBs in Kilimani and Kileleshwa and wherever has been given enough time, like to really give a conclusive, is it successful, is it not successful? But I think I have seen comments by people who have more information than the average person that there is a rise in Airbnbs in Kilimani and environs and all those other places. I mean, even as far as Gong Road heading to Karen.
Oh, yeah.
But it's a response of nyumba hazitumiki. Sasa tufanye nini?
Airbnb.
Like a BNB tuone.
So hiyo issue ya development control ina come in. Like is our development control working? Because at some point I think Kilimani is zoned as to be a townhouses place, but the fact that we are seeing the story building in Amanisha, it's not working.
It's no longer just townhouses. The development control policy is now outdated. Ideally they're working on the new one, but still not yet out. So that means development just takes place on precedence, which is not the best way to plan. Ama your neighbor went higher, even you can go higher. And you can see what happened in Parklands, where the residents actually got a court order to stop the county from approving any new buildings, any new high-rise buildings. So until they come up with a local area development plan. So if they can do that, maybe other areas will say,
areas can also
Ata sisi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
but not here in Kilimani. Here
Not
in
yet,
Kilimani
not
is
yet in
full throttle,
Kilimani.
just going berserk, and I mean just and also if they are not building, like when we are here every day, they are digging everywhere there, and they are going quite deep, which means they are planning to put quite some high-rise structures.
Okay.
And with that, you'd expect that consultants are eating good.
Yeah. Are they?
Are they eating good?
Pesa iko inakaa pesa iko.
Are they eating good, really? I heard them
Questionable.
complaining.
Yeah. Talking of complaint, we can go forward to the ongoing uprising about the CPD events on Borax. I don't know. Maybe you have more information about it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So the architects and quantity surveyors, usually every year there's a seminar for continuous professional development. They're supposed to attend so they can get their points for renewing their license every year. And then now the cost for that seminar went up by over 30% at a go with no prior notification.
No consultation.
So, no consultation.
No public participation.
No public participation.
Yeah.
So our people asked to maandamano for prices to be reduced. But the question also comes in to say the reason why sometimes you see consultants also complaining about the cost of this CPD seminars is also because maybe we're not making as much as we're expected to be.
How beneficial is the event, CPD event?
In my opinion, it's supposed to be something that brings together consultants, and you learn about what's in the what's new in the industry. We discuss, and because it's a very fast evolving industry, so that's where now we learn new things. Some of the topics in the past have been familiar, some have been new. Not everyone is satisfied with the caliber of topics, because if you talk about AI has been around for years. So even now you cannot tell me that we are now asking what is AI. So caliber of topics is relative, but the bit about that coming together annually is important.
That means that we cannot underrate the value, we cannot wish it away. It's there and it's there.
It's there and it's
but
important.
Then I think from, as Mjengo Digital and we do our online interactions, naona hii kitu ni kama ya Gen Z. It's these younger graduates who are off college, off campus, and you're telling them to spend how much again?
30,000 shillings.
How much are they being paid?
That's why I'm asking about the value.
Do they even have a job?
Actually, the argument is for Gen Zs now, for the candidates.
Yes.
It's not just a CPD seminar. For the CPD seminar, they'll pay 15,000.
Yes.
But they have also, their fees for registration have also gone up by 10,000.
Yes.
And their fees for examinations also went up by 10,000. So we're looking at 27,000 for registration. We're looking at, 40,000 for exams. So you can tell how much this candidate has already spent in the last 1 year just trying to get the licensing.
Graduate ametoka shule juzi.
Yes.
Hana kazi, maybe doing an internship for like 20K a month.
Yes.
How will they make it to be on that event and
That's
network
awesome.
and
Yeah.
they're making it inaccessible, and that's what's sad.
It is inaccessible, but the question also comes to a point where why can't the graduate afford this amount, yet the commissions for architects, there's a scale of fees that is prescribed that ideally if you get to do a building, there's a fee you get which now also pays the graduate who's now able to afford, able to afford, because you just said there's excavation everywhere, the buildings coming up everywhere. So the companies are busy, but how come the money is not trickling down to the consultant?
Exactly.
I'll ask you guys, even especially the architects, maybe the urban designers, hamko wengi sana, I'm not sure, but tell me, is there a flood of graduates? Because that issue has been raised. I mean, not even in your built environment circles, but even in other, like the lawyers and advocates and the rest. Architects meanza kuwa wengi.
Yes.
Isn't it? The engineers are many, even whether mechanical, civil, electrical, and all the others. So there is a disconnect, perhaps, between. I want to imagine the people who sit in the regulatory authorities and other bodies. There's a disconnect. Wako pande hii, and the young graduates are on this side.
Yes.
Na
And I feel like at some point they're trying to make it to be that way forever. Because if you raise this fee, how are we being able to interact and see how we can transition to this other side?
That's true. The fee is very limiting if you look at it that way. But also, if let's say I have 50 years of experience in the industry, the fee is the same for me as the other graduate who just completed it 2 years ago and now wants to get registration.
So let me ask you. They put the favorable low fee up to what? How many years after graduation? There is a soft landing for the fresh graduates.
Yes.
For how many years? 1, 2?
2 years. Then you do your examinations. So by the time you are 3 years post graduation, then you're now paying the 20,000 because now you're licensed.
Okay. So at least that period gives you some time to join the rest in those big construction projects that are coming up, and hopefully
But I'm looking at this perspective. I think the thing they're not considering is industry growth, because with this disconnect in Amanisha, at some point these people, the older people, will retire. They'll get tired of working, and who will be replacing them in the industry? Maybe people who have not get a better mentoring, a better access to this information, how to do things. Na hiyo itafanya pia quality of our buildings and our spaces we live in goes low. So I think maybe we should look at the bigger picture of industry growth. They try to mentor, bridge the gap, and see how sustainable can we make this, instead of being a bit of gatekeeping. Yeah.
I agree. The mentorship actually is what's crucial, and that's the CPD. That's the aim of the CPDs actually, the interaction. And if that is not there, then that means that the graduate who, let's say, did not get a spot in a farm and instead went and began their own small practice, did not get the mentorship, and therefore they make their own rules when going forward. So the problems in consultancy continue to multiply in the next generation and the next and the next. Actually it's a problem. I would ask, is it the same also in the other professions as well?
That's curious, but for me I can't answer because as an urban designer we don't have a board that guide us or try to. Actually, urban designers are not recognized. I think I've said this before. We are not recognized in Kenya. We are trying to get to be registered under the PPRB, that's planning board, but I think it was not successful. So maybe if we have somebody in other field.
I have been vantage point, leadership position, entirely away from the build environment industry. I'll give you, like I have checked places like PRSK, Public Relations Society of Kenya. Our own association, photographers, have been in the association for Design Kenya Society. Those are struggling associations. I think you guys have an act of parliament.
Yes, for architects.
I think somebody was telling me the first QS was registered, 1964, 5, thereabout. Your associations are very old, well established. So I think it's a case of damned if you do, damned if you don't. That now we are dealing with over-regulation, very high, very strong powers. They look well meant. I think the things you're talking about, that they go to those sessions, they learn, it meant good. But now the younger, especially the younger graduates, perhaps they feel, or even everybody just feels, okay, hii imekuwa too much. For the rest of us, we wish that we could just even get a half or a quarter of how you guys are, government recognition, very well laid out structures. Like everything seems to work not pretty bad as a well-oiled machine, But then sasa ukiona hiyo shida, I was looking at the IQSK's response, very strongly worded, when you think about it. I think they even gave an ultimatum for 48 hours, if they don't when people start using words like we advise our members to stay calm, it's the same thing that the Kiambu governor said when he was arrested, you know.
Yeah.
So you see, it's a bit combative, but I think you guys are a bit lucky. But then, damned if you do, damned if you don't. Some of us on this other side, we wish that we could get even just a portion of what we see happening in some of these highly regulated professionals, like you know, under Borax and you know, similar institutions.
Agreed. Now, I think also part of the uprising was them noticing that the requests that they had made to the board or the things they expect the board to do for them
Were
were not done. They also roped in associations and said the things we expect you to say on our behalf, not said, not done. And we had seen the same thing had happened when it came to doctors and the interns when they were, you know, on strike, mandamano. We had seen the same thing happen, engineers as well, who were complaining, graduate engineers complaining about how they have they're getting low pay and they feel like the association is not advocating for them. So I mean, I would commend the young Gen Z is clearly making a change across sectors, but I also feel the bodies that are responsible for regulating, or even if you have the power to change or to you hold the reins, that you don't have to wait for the generation to come up to question. Because I come from a generation where we never questioned much. We kept quiet. Actually, I was actually a registered architect at the time. They were now doubling the fees. We just said, okay, yes. But now this time, there's a new change. The people are not accepting it, which is good because now we can question all of it
They
together.
would take it lying down.
They would take it lying down, as we did. But now them, they don't.
They speak up.
Okay. While we're talking everything today, I at some point I like questioning myself why there's a lot of politics in everything. Like everything is politicized. But then I came to think like at some point, maybe in an organization of let's say 5 people, there's always politics. If 5 people can't understand each other, how do you expect maybe a whole association, a whole country, different continent to understand each other? So I think at some point we have to try and differentiate politics, the good politics and bad politics. We differentiate which are the politics that are serving us. For me, I think for this CPD, it's a politics that are serving us, but maybe they might be other intentions, or maybe different things that maybe we make sure it doesn't make us fall or cause other problems. In my opinion.
I know you're about to tell us we are about to finish, but then I want to ask again, and this came up in some of your past editions, between institutions that, especially the ones that have been there for the longest time. Unajua kama vile tukiona movie watu wanashare intel, you know, like government agencies. And I just wonder how much of collaboration, or is it so much fighting? You know, the architects are there, the regulator Borax is there, NCA iko kuna hao wengine, and everybody is just, you know, is just elbowing each other, and ama like kwa Swahili walisema navutia kwake. You know, are they collaborating? Are they giving room? Are they listening? Are they picking each other's calls? I don't think people are picking. I don't think these institutions are picking each other's calls. I don't think they are. I don't think they are responding to their emails.
What if there was just a meeting where people came here, sat down, and talked
collectively?
And agreed. I think some things could have been a meeting. I think we've made social media as our go-to first place instead of just calling each other, going in a meeting and just agreeing. Okay. And maneno inaisha. I at some point, yes, as much as I'm a Gen Z, so as much as I love protesting, I think at some point we might have other ways of solving problems.
You're right, because we are professionals.
You are professionals.
We are professionals, and we actually abide by a code of ethics. I also agree that the organizations need to be talking far much more often,
Yeah.
and also helping each other when it comes to queries. They should be responding, but I also recognize and honor the fact that they should not all be in cahoots. There should be that check and balance that should exist. The government body, regulatory body exists. The association is
Also have
advocacy.
their role, yes.
Yes, so we pull each other. We actually, I think when it's not opposing, but actually checking and complementing each other should be the case. Because if we all agree that, I think that's also a road to disaster.
Okay. Yeah.
Well, we've had really fruitful discussions, and I wish we had more time to discuss more of this. But maybe you can have a parting shot, and maybe as we welcome guys to the discussion for next week, as we discuss this hot topic about extension of land leases.
Yeah.
Yes. I think it's been one of the hot topics because miaka imetembea sana. I think we're going to take some time to just look at all the risks involved and what people need to do and what's happening from the county governments to the national government offices. There's also some level of ignorance, I bet, that's happening in terms of the expiry of the leases. We are just about to exhaust all the land available in the city, for example. So we look forward to that discussion and some more insights.
Same here.
Yeah.
Parting shots.
Parting shot is public participation. I like that so much. So just in case if you ever see a gazette or an advertisement that there will be a public participation, please practice your civic role and go there and voice your ideas, because I think our laws imetusaidia we have that factor. So I'm really looking forward to different public participation, especially SPA. So Nairobi River being declared SPA. So if you see that advertisement, please go.
Put out your voice.
Yeah.
So be sure to also subscribe to Mjengo podcast. Please be on the lookout for more episodes coming up. Let us know what you thought about today's episode, and also give us your comments and views and what you'd like us to talk about. So we'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye.